And good morning to everyone, and welcome to St. Patrick's Day. As we begin this, a lot's going on today. Number one, before you leave home, fog is beyond thick. It is very crucial that you take extra time and leave early this morning. Let's look at radar as we pull this up. This is the scene. All of this yellow and red and gold, that is fog that is scattered throughout the area. We just got a fog advisory for Wayne County and south and southern Mississippi. But as we'll look here, let's move in on this so you can see this. As you get to Neshoba County, thick Winston County, and let's turn on locations just to show you how bad it is. I got reports just a little bit ago of how thick it was in this area in South Meridian. If you will look at the eastern portion of Lauderdale County, it's thicker there. Up near Lauderdale, out in the Tumsuba area, bad thick all the way to Cuba, York. As we come up now, it gets worse the further north you go, the northwest of here. Once you get to House, you'll start getting thicker. By the time you get to Tucker, it's even harder to see. In the city limits of Philadelphia is thick, 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 thick. Good way to word that. And that's going to hold you all the way through Louisville. Look at this. All the way over to Kosciuszko and up to Mississippi State right there on the campus. So be careful. I can't stress this enough. All the way down here as we follow this to Wayne County and into Hattiesburg and those areas. So leaving 15 to 20 minutes early will be extremely helpful for you this morning because you can't see. Always be careful. I know I sound like is the word old hen when it comes to crossing four lanes like Highway 19. If you're going to be out Highway 19 South, those areas where you have to get in the medium to get across to your lane to turn. Sometimes it's best to turn right and come back up. Just saying, be extra cautious this morning as we begin our day. One thing I wanted to point out, we've already had our first incident this morning. Not horrible, but we have had a fender bender this morning. This is going to be, and let me pull this up where you can see this, the map-wise of where this is. This is Highway 11 and 80, right in front of the Mississippi Highway Patrol office. No one seriously injured. I had some complaints of some pain, but a fender bender there this morning. Again, fog in that area could have contributed to this. We're not exactly sure. I wasn't there when it happened, but you can bet your bottom dollar that it does play into these things. So be careful. Plan your day, and we'll get into the weather here in just a few moments and tell you more about what's going on as we start our day. Right now, 44, as we'll get to high later today of 75. 30 degrees difference. That's major, isn't it? It is. As we start looking at news stories this morning, one of the things that broke and happened last night, the headline of the day, as we pull this up, Butler, Alabama. The scene it was there near the McDonald's, Pushmataha is where it all happened on the street there, to where there was accident last night. Shots were fired. 3 people were taken to the hospital last night from shots being fired. That happened around 8 p.m. 2 were taken to the Choctaw General Hospital, and 1 was flown to Mobile for medical attention. A 3rd individual was driven to Meridian to the hospital. There's no other information at this time of what went on, but it was 3 people that was wounded, and 1 came to Meridian, 1 was flown. We will probably find out more about that today as details come about that. But in the parking lot there is what I'm understanding all this happened. So be careful. You never know when things will break out and happen at a little or advance warning. Butler, Alabama, who would have thought that a shooting would take place there? I wouldn't have. But it has happened as we watch news stories, and this will develop. Again, that's the 200 block of Pushmataha Street there in Butler, Alabama, is where that all went on last night. Today, if it doesn't catch you off guard, remember to grab something green. It is St. Patrick's Day, the luck of the Irish. That's today. You'll get pinched. At least they did that in high school. It seems to hurt more the older you get. Just warning you. Be prepared for whatever comes about. Who would have thought in Quitman also, Robin Dickerson says. I agree with that. And Clark County has been making headlines left and right here lately. We'll get into some of the news stories that's been shaping Clark County as well. My heavens. Now, one thing that broke yesterday, and it was sunshiny here. You didn't think much about it, but have you seen this? As we go to look at Facebook here, Birmingham, Alabama yesterday afternoon. As we all knew, the southeast corner of Alabama was going to get some rain, but downtown Birmingham, look at this. This is the scene of what was going on. Flooding everywhere. Look at that. Several people had to be rescued. Somebody jumped in and saved a man that was almost swept away in the downtown area. I just have never seen anything quite like that, for it to be so sunny right here and then Birmingham. That's not that far off from us to be that bad. So that was one of the things that went on yesterday that just kind of caught everybody off guard. I didn't see it. Flash flooding. One person was in critical condition after that as I look deeper into these headlines. 20 rescues had to happen in the city of Birmingham yesterday. My, oh my. ABC 3340 out of Birmingham had a lot of pictures to show on that. I shared a few of those from James Spann also last night. If you have a chance, take a look at my Facebook page, and you'll be able to scan through those and kind of see what happened there. Wow. As we start looking at other things in and around the area, as we see these buildup of things that go on, no one was hurt last night to my knowledge, but we do know of several areas in the Meridian area that reported gunfire. 34th and 5th, shots around the 900 block of Davis Street, 35th Avenue, Shoemate Road. I even had, and then there was nothing to back this up, but someone did say that they did hear some shots behind Frank Berry Apartments last night. Again, they didn't find anything on that one to back that up. But as we've all seen, when things like this happen a few days later, it escalates into other things. Just letting you know where they were. Now, there was no damage reported on any of this. It's just most likely somebody shooting in the air. So that was that did occur last night. Had a disturbance over at Buffalo Wild Wings in the parking lot. People just can't get along sometimes, can they? No one hurt, but that was the scene of that. As we go to Clark County Hot Topics to find out what's going on in Clark County, they had a small, and we'll look at this. Here's the picture of this situation down in Clark County as we pull this up. A small train derailment there on Railroad Avenue, Sycamore Street, behind the Blossman Glass. It's gas. I said that wrong, didn't I? As they were working on that. Nothing major. They're fixing it. That's one of the things going on in Clark County. As we also learn, and more will come out on this today, as we found out yesterday, this was the scene here. And I know there was a lot of talk of this, of getting reports of multiple officers that was involved in a traffic stop of an alleged kidnapping abduction there on County Road 470. We'll get more details on that today as all of this comes out. As we dig into this, one suspect was taken into custody over this situation. Clark County, it's been busy lately. Y'all, the sheriff doesn't put up with much, and they get to take a ride downtown to the jailhouse. Todd takes care of folks there. Now, the next thing, our Meridian area last night, by now you've most likely either seen this or heard this as we get into the scene of what happened last night. A hit and run happened. And when I say hit and run, the accident happened. They jumped out of the car and ran. I have not gotten word this morning that they've been taken into custody, but they ran fast, and they got away after they caused an accident. And let's go to the webpage and take a look at this. You can see this at sammedia.network. This is the F-150 that was struck. And look at this. Let me pull this up where you can actually see that good. That's upside down. Struck. This was near the Sefco and Nick and Owls there on Highway 19. Here's a view from the parking lot of the truck upside down there. Things strewn everywhere. Now, I've talked to them and family members. They're okay. But that doesn't change the fact this is the car that hit them, that this went on. Someone ran from that. And also, let's go down, and I've got... let me see where I've got that. We've got video footage from this also, from the scene of that. I'm going to pull this up where you can kind of see the chaotic scene that was going on as soon as this happened. This was from people that were there when the incident went down last night on Highway 19. Let's pull this back up and hit play where you can take a look here. As you can see, the pickup truck upside down. As we scan over, you'll be able to see the car that struck them. It's going to be right here to the left, and there it is there. Most likely, if you were to get into recreating the scene of the accident, it would be that they pulled out in front of the truck is what I'm assuming went on with that. But this could have been a lot worse. Flipped the truck over. Fortunately, they were wearing seatbelts and they're okay there. But that's Highway 19 right there by Nick and Owls, the Cefco. All that happened last night. So thank heavens that they're okay. Always a scary situation. You never even think about that when you leave home, that something like that could occur. So we're glad everybody is okay from that. As we said, things could be worse. Sometimes you have to look at that. As I spoke to the family members, they said God feared and God took care of them, and we're glad of that. As we look at other headlines this morning, as we travel around and take a look at things that have gone on, there was a fender bender also yesterday, the Texas Turnaround. It took me a year or so to catch on to that name, and this is right in front of the Holiday Inn. This involved a dump truck. We've got this also on the website, and a small car. And you know how those lanes merge together there. That was the scene yesterday morning of a fender bender there, and that happened right there on that Texas Turnaround, as we got the news of that yesterday morning also. So everybody is okay in that. But again, one of those lane mergers that happens in that area. I always use caution in that area as you're in that situation. Again, if you're just tuning in, fog, it's very thick. Leave home early if you've got to be somewhere. We want to make sure of that. There was also a hit and run on 14th Street yesterday. I don't have pictures from that, but I did have the diagram of that on 14th Street near the hospitals. Again, somebody pulled out in front of somebody, struck them, and then they drove off. Pretty common these days for people to do that. And so hopefully they'll be caught. They've got descriptions of the car, but that's the last thing you want. And when you get into that, it's usually somebody that doesn't have car insurance and they want to just haul britches. Y'all know that as well as I do. Good morning to, let's see, Beth Vick, you're up with us today. Joyce Godwin, how are you today? Glad to see you're up. Rehan Canterbury. Rehan, did I say that right? Canterbury? I hope I did. Also, Steve Wanda McKinnon stirring today. We've also got Mike Dallas watching today. Karina Jones, morning. Also, LaWanda Grantham is up. Laura Lee, how are you? Also, we say good morning to Donna Roseman, Teresa Westbrook, Janice Bounds, Reggie McKee. Glad to see y'all up today and trying to find a smile with us as we get a cup of coffee and go for it. We'll be right back. I got some more headlines to discuss with you of things that are going on. Stay close. We'll tell you all about those next here at Scotty Ray's Weather.
H&H Residential of Meridian is your #1 carpet and flooring store. If you've been thinking of a new look for your home or office, call for a free estimate or consultation. H&H can install or you can do it yourself. H&H has all of your design needs from color, style, and texture. If you can dream it, H&H can make it a reality. Come see the large selection of hardwood flooring, laminate, vinyl, and even carpet. H&H Residential of Meridian, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, 321 Hawkins Crossing Road. Call Rosemary anytime, 601-462-9541.
If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike and Jake have years of experience of dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel.
As we go to Jackson, Mississippi for headlines this morning, maybe it's a good thing for teachers. If you're a teacher, you'll like this headline. They were down to the 4,000 range at one point. Now it's a little bit higher, and it looks as though Mississippi school teachers may be getting that raise that they've been wanting. Right now, they've negotiated to around $5,100. Let's hope the teachers get it. They deserve it. They work hard for their money. For those of us who are not in that profession, trust me, they deserve every nickel and more. It's very hard. I'm not lying about that. Whew. But God bless them. We hope they'll get that raise, and it looks as though they will get it. Duck Dynasty, have you seen this? Vicksburg, Mississippi, making the news today as we've got Jace. He's been over metal detecting. They're filming a show of it. He's out searching for relics from the Civil War. He's always the funny one. I always liked Jace. We'll see how that turns out, but expect that to be coming. A metal detecting show. It's fun. I don't know if you've ever done that. I like it. I've got one. They had that one show that time of those two guys that done the metal detector, and they could find a Coke tab, and they would do backwards flips. And it got old. I quit watching it. You only get excited if you actually find something good. But there's a lot of people that do metal detecting. And now Jace Robertson of Duck Dynasty doing that. We'll see how the show goes. Maybe it'll continue there. As we go to headlines in Tupelo, Mississippi, an infant has been hospitalized and his parents are jailed. They've been charged with felony child abuse. We see way too many of these headlines like this time in our own state. Children do not need to be abused, and parents need to pay the price if they actually do these things. They've been charged. It was a 4-month-old taken into the emergency room. I hope something is done. They can't speak for themselves, and y'all know that as well as we do. Past Christian, you've been there before. They've got a couple that's been charged with 70 counts of animal cruelty. That's another group that can't speak for themselves. Pets depend upon you. Be good to them. They've got feelings just like you. They are man's best friend. Whether you've got a cat, you got a dog, they're close to you. I just can't imagine someone being cruel for no reason. We all know what happens. What goes on behind doors that we don't see, it would make our skin crawl to really know what goes on out there. But these two have been caught. They'll face the jury for what they've done. As we look around, a Marion County woman arrested after a child dies. That's Columbia, Mississippi is where that all took place. Just as though we saw that headline a few days ago in Jackson, Mississippi, to where the wreck happened in downtown where the lady hit the building. She's been charged with DUI, and the passenger in the car died, 7 years old. Another one of these. We just hate to even read these things. 911 was busy yesterday at the Mississippi River Bridge. Y'all know where that is. They were training. The problem is no one knew it was training, and everybody coming along saw someone hanging from the Mississippi River Bridge. It was fireman training of rescuing someone that would be dangling. 911 lit up in the area. Fortunately, it was nothing to that, just training. From this side, it brings a smile to your face, but glad people were paying attention. But all was okay there in the Vicksburg area there. As we look at bigger headlines, and we've seen this. We saw this not long ago in the Meridian area. Do y'all remember the case of the gentleman that was charged with murder? He ended up getting life for the murder of his wife. I remember that very well. Happened out in the area of Center Hill areas where that went on. But so many times since this COVID thing happened, we've seen people, their trials be put off 3 years. They walk around with nothing happening. A Mississippi financial planner is headed to court now after 3 years of this COVID thing. He lured women to his apartment, and then he'd rape them. He's headed to court this week. We'll see how this turns out. He was jailed for this back in, I think it was 19 when it originally started. The trial has begun. We'll see what becomes of him. But he's charged of luring women to a motel room. And y'all know how that finishes. That's horrible. Things like that happen as well, but they do. We'll see what the jury thinks of that one. As we talked about Alabama and all that went on there, I brought this up a few weeks ago. Do y'all have Brookside, Alabama? As we look at this, 23 officers and a towing company are now being sued. They had investigators come in and say that it was not racial. It was across all boards. They picked on all boundaries. Let me back up and say that correctly. All boundaries to where they picked on people that were poor, couldn't fight them. They would seize vehicles. If you had money, guns in your car, and they stopped you, they'd take it away from you. It was a money pit for them. And now this group, after this investigation, well, they've gotten themselves an attorney, and they're suing. 8 people so far have joined this, and maybe more on this. It went on for years. You went through that small town, and you looked as though you couldn't afford an attorney. They would go after you, charge you with fines, and it seemed as though as they had done the investigation on this, they didn't mess with people they thought that could hire an attorney, so to speak. But 8 of them have gotten an attorney, and they're suing the city and the officers and the towing company that haul their cars off. This will be a case to watch. You wouldn't think that anything like that would even go on this day and time, do you? Well, it happened there. As we look at a few headlines from across the nation, they're saying that free speech could be over. Yale University, they had to actually call in, because it was conservative speaking, protection. Students were going to attack. What has happened to America with this? It puzzles me and it worries me about the future of the next generation when we are the land of the free, and free speech is part of that. Whether you like it or not, you let someone say what they want. You don't have to agree with them. There goes that little sound there. We're going to have to work on that. But that happened at Yale University. As we look at what happened yesterday in Ukraine, this is horrible. 1,200 people were packed into an auditorium for safety and clearly marked outside children. Putin and his men dropped a bomb. From all understanding, they were all killed. That's war crimes, is what that is. We all know that. What's going to become of this, we don't know. But it gets a little bit more, the stakes get a little bit higher each day as we watch this. It is something bad going on. Even I saw a headline this morning where some financial planner jumped on the president of Ukraine because he wasn't dressed in a suit. This is not a time for a suit. It's time for a leader, and that's what he's doing. You got to give the man credit no matter how bad it is. You know, we've seen people that run cities in our own United States that when bad things happen, you don't see them. They never come out and give a speech to let the people know what's going on. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Happened here locally. Shootings happen, you don't hear from anybody. But that man, no matter how bad it is, he shows his face and says, I'm here for you. I respect a man that does that. There's a lot going on over there, and we pray for those families. That's just awful for anything to happen like that. As we continue to take a look around at things, Netflix, how many people got that? Well, maybe you share your password with your college students so they can watch. Netflix says they're going to crack down on that and start charging for multiple people logging into your account. Whoa, there's a lot of people that do that. We used to have it. I hadn't had it in a while, but that's a common thing across America. So look for that if you have Netflix. They're going to start charging for multiple logins to your account. Hey there, Alicia Fisher. Glad to see you're up. We're going to do weather next. Find out just how foggy it is, and we got severe weather coming our way. We'll tell you all about that. That's next, so don't go anywhere here at Scotty Ray's Weather as we continue the weather report.
I'm Michael Swansea. I'm an Alpha insurance agent. 9 out of 10 people don't understand what insurance actually is. I want to fix that. I want to take the opportunity to sit down with you and your family and really go over your insurance and make sure that y'all are protected. I don't want y'all going to bed at night wondering during the next emergency, during the next claim, am I going to be covered? Give me a chance to sit down with you and your family and fix that and make a difference.
Rock House Gun and Pawn is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Lots of different calibers and brands to choose from when it comes to hunting rifles. Whether you're looking for a new pump shotgun or an AR, the Rock House will have the gun that you need. With a huge selection of ammunition for just about any caliber that you may be looking for. Pistols, scopes, and a whole lot more. Plus a private lobby for your confidentiality when it comes to your pawns. Rock House Gun and Pawn, located at 5430 Highway 19 North Meridian.
Currently 44 in downtown Meridian at Key Field as we wake up this morning. It's going to get warm. 75 is what we're looking for. Sunshiny day. All of that will change in the overnight hours from our west. Bad weather will start to move across, and by 6 a.m. will be our timeline from about 6 in the morning to 10 a.m. At first, we thought it was going to be in our area overnight, but it looks like right at daybreak tomorrow morning from 6 until 10 will be our area that we will need to watch. I'll tell you more about that and show you the charts here in just a moment as we get into that. As we turn and get into the forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Our record highs, record lows, 1963. It was a warm 87 degrees. We won't quite make that today, but it'll be warm. Back in 88, we've had several cold days that were reported from 1988, 27 on this day, way back when. 30 plus years ago. That ought to make you feel old. Today, mostly sunny. We'll get 76 here in Meridian, Philadelphia. Looks like it'll be 75 as we go northward through the Louisville area up to Mississippi State. About 74 is what we'll get there. To the south of us, Hattiesburg, 76. Out to our west, we see that Vicksburg comes in at 76 this morning. Warm day. Great day there. As we come across Alabama, 75. Looks like Demopolis, Butler, you'll also make 75 degrees. And about 76 right there in Geiger, Alabama. So y'all keep that in mind as you're out doing your deeds today in that area. As we come across, this is the fog that is forecasted this morning. That's thick. We've got areas in this right here that are ultimately thick. This is going to last until at least 9 a.m. this morning, so make sure to keep your headlights on low beam as you travel about today. Let's jump into this and take a look. This is our timeline for severe weather for tonight and in tomorrow. About 1 a.m., it'll start moving into the Vicksburg area. By 3, it will get past Vicksburg and into the Jackson area. And then our area, starting at about Scott County, and this comes up and takes in all of Philadelphia, Newton. Beginning at around 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is when we will see the worst of the weather that will move through our area. Now, as you can see, right here is our line of severe weather. Lauderdale County, Newton County, and then northward from Kemper, Neshoba County, and Winston, and all these areas will be a level 1. So everything south of Lauderdale and Newton and Scott County will see the worst of the weather. It's going to hover southward and move across. We'll keep you up to date with this, and again, we'll go live and keep this as long as we need to, street by street, to make sure that you're aware of that. As we look at our friends in Alabama, here's what's being forecasted for there as we jump across here. Montgomery, Troy, these areas right now are forecasted to be the worst there. This could be updated. We'll watch this carefully in Alabama to see if this is added over here toward Demopolis, but at this point, they're putting it in the Troy, Alabama area. As we move forward, what's happening with the temperatures? 6 to 10 days out, still warm, and we're seeing that today, 75. We'll get some average temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days. As we move into spring, it's not official spring, but it sure feels it, doesn't it? Sure does to me. All right, as we look at the forecast, here's the outlook that we've got for the next 7 days as we do the breakdown for you. Today, we'll get that 74 to 76 high. It's going to be warm. We've got the fog through about 9 a.m. this morning. High right there. 80% chance of showers moves into the forecast tonight, and this will not start happening until after midnight. Somewhere around 1, we'll get down to about 54, and we're going to have gusty winds of about 20 miles an hour tonight, overnight hours. As you wake up in the morning, you've got a 70% chance of rain. The high will get to, 79. It will be a warm day, gust of 30 miles an hour. So be prepared for this. Our time frame with the worst weather will be from 6 until 10, and then it'll gradually clear throughout the afternoon. But the morning hours will be wet. As we get into Saturday, looks pretty good, doesn't it? 65 for high, and Sunday, as you head to church, 72. Can't beat that weather. This will be our next concern right here, Tuesday. We'll let you know how this is, but some forecasting already starting to show that could be some serious weather moving our way in the Tuesday area. We'll let you know with that. We've got light rain also on next Wednesday, a high of about 77. As the outlook goes, we get warmer. Look at the 28th as we get near the month, end of the month. 78. We'll be right at that 80-degree mark as April Fool's comes about. That's not that far off. Can you believe that? April Fool's Day, close. My, how this month has moved on. As we look at our best fishing times, let's head out to Chet's Paint and Body and see what Chet has to tell us today. Well, your outlook today looks like your first major time was overnight. You'll get to get out this morning, let's see, around lunchtime. Get yourself a little bit there. That'll be the best time today, about 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We got a little bit of a minor time this morning. If you got to go, you can be out there. We got a light wind. It's going to happen today, 5 to 10 miles an hour. So that's what you'll be facing if you're chunking lures this morning out there. That's a quick look at the forecast of what we've got. Again, 44 right now as we wait for that high of about 76 today. It's going to be gusty as we get into tonight and severe weather in the morning. That's what's happening. We'll have more details on things that are going on and tell you more about this as we get into the morning show. That's going to happen at 8. We've got Candace coming in. We'll see if she remembers to wear her green. We don't know yet. We'll find out. All of that's on the way this morning right here at the Scotty Ray Report. Thank you for dropping by, spending some time with us. As we say, a thank you to so many people that watch each and every day. Thanks so much. We'll be back here shortly with the morning show with Scotty Ray and Candace. We'll see you soon.
Scotty Ray's weather is brought to you by our following partners: